Hey folks, this is Steve with Nonprofit Ally. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about goals, setting goals, and accomplishing those goals. And the big part of this video is going to be accomplishing those goals, right? Because we all have goals that we set. We set 1-year goals, 6-month goals, or even long-term goals like 3 to 5-year goals. And part of setting those goals or attaining those goals is breaking them into smaller goals, right? Milestones that you're going to be trying to achieve within 3 months or 6 months so that you are set up on your path to achieve that longer term goal. And breaking it down a little bit more, each of those milestones or steps that you take should be measurable in some way. I'm going to finish a report by then. I will be submitting this by then. I'll be booking the convention center by then, or whatever it is you're trying to do, right? If you're writing a grant, you may want to have a certain budget set for that grant at a certain time so you can move on to step 2 or 3 of that grant. So pretty basic goal setting, right? And of course there's a timeline within that. Now, when you're setting up your goals, there's an acronym that many people use called the SMART acronym. And I've heard Tony Robbins has talked about this acronym, and Deepak Chopra has talked about this acronym. It's called the SMART acronym. And SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, I had to think for a second there, realistic, and timely, right? So, and that spells SMART. So that spells SMART. And the thing with that, it's if you're going to set a long-term goal, make sure that, one, it's specific, you know exactly what you're shooting for, measurable, that it's achievable, realistic, and timely. Now, we're going to go more into the SMART acronym in a later video. But right now, I just wanted to make sure that when you're setting your long-term goals, you have a good idea of making sure your goals fit within that acronym, because it's very useful. Now, it's the tracking part that I want to talk about today. And so you have your goals, and you have many of them, because we all have many goals. It may be we have to write a grant and we have to submit it by the end of the year, and we have an event coming up, and we have a program that we're developing, and within those we have smaller goals and timelines that we achieve. So we could be dealing with dozens of goals each month that we're trying to attain, that we're trying to at least make progress towards. And it can be overwhelming without proper planning. And so this is what I want to talk about today. I found a planner that really helps not only track the goals, but actually put specific focus on each day and each goal that you're trying to achieve, whether it's that day or that week. And it's called the Passion Planner. I found this, it's at passionplanner.com. It's a free you can download it for free. There is a paid version. The paid version, of course, has a nice binding and a good cover, but the downloadable version is just a PDF that you can print. Try it out, see if you like it. I've done that, and I do like it. In fact, I have it here. I'll give you a quick glimpse at what mine is. And I just printed it from the internet on my own printing paper, and so I stuck it in a manila folder. I put a little cover on there. So you can see that's going to help me try to achieve my goals. And then it looks pretty much like this. So you open it up, and I did the color coding myself. But basically the goal, it's a pretty neat thing. It has over here kind of your focus area for your week. And each week day has your focus for that day up there. Down at the bottom, it has all sorts of to-do lists, your personal as well as work-related to-do lists, and it prioritizes them. And then down over here, it has a section for brainstorming, doing drawings, or just taking notes. Right now, I'm just using it for notes quite a bit. There's definitely what I'll do in a second here, we'll go take a look at this on my computer so you can see exactly what each section looks like. But the good thing about this planner is it's really focused on people who want to achieve their goals, right? Each day or each week has a specific purpose. You can write it into your planner. Like today's focus is completing that grant. Today's focus is making sure I've lined up all the volunteers for this event, right? And so you can put that focus in the week, and it really helps you stay on track. It's really a great planner for the goal-oriented social entrepreneur, right? A nonprofit leader who has multiple goals and multiple objectives each week can use this planner and really just line out each section, each day, based on a specific focus, right? So let's take a closer look at this. We'll go to the passionplanner.com website. All right, so obviously we did not go into my computer. In fact, this is a couple days later. I got to review what I was going to present, and it just wasn't up to par. I wanted to make this useful, so we're going to go in a different direction for the second half of this video. Obviously, it's a couple days later. I'm wearing different clothes. I gave myself a haircut. But let's go right into this, because I think it's really important to be able to take your year-long goals, your large goals, and divide it into very practical monthly, weekly, daily objectives that make it easier for you to achieve your long-term goals. And so what I do is during the month, I'll write out like, okay, this needs to get done this month. I got a grant report due. I have 3 meetings that are important. I have other, etc. So you write all these things down, and I compartmentalize them. I break them down into a weekly type schedule. And so I know what's coming up this week. And I'll put down all the appointments I have for the week, conferences, trainings, deadlines that I have coming up that I have to meet, and I will start prioritizing that. So some of it like phone calls and conferences, and those are hard and fast times and dates, right? So those are prioritized. Those things are get written in stone into the planner. So those I start putting down on paper, and then I write out a list of kind of my second priority goals, which might be reports I'm trying to get done by a deadline, or certain people I have to call, board meetings, things like that I have to get ready for. And then there'll be like third tier or third priority type stuff, and that might be putting some posts on Facebook, getting in touch with volunteers, but maybe something that might be important to do this week, but maybe I can do it next week. So it's kind of second or third tier priority. So I make this list, and it looks just like that. So my first tier, these are kind of appointments that I need to do, and then here's priority 1 type stuff, like, hey, get that grant report ready because you got to get into phase 2 of that grant, and then the third priority type stuff. And then with this written out, so these are things I want to try to accomplish next week, I go ahead and I get my planner. In this case, it's going to be the Passion Planner, right, that I just showed you. So page 1, page 2 of the Passion Planner. And I will start filling in the times and the dates on here for priority 1, priority 2, and priority 3. So let's do that really quick here. So priority 1 is obviously my appointments, my meetings, my conferences, my trainings, and all that. So right away, I'm going to start putting in, I have a Monday morning, 11 o'clock staff meeting. I'm going to write that down in my planner. I'm just going to do this really quick here. So that goes into there. I have a Tuesday conference call at 1 o'clock, and so that is a hard and fast time and date. I put that down along with a training that afternoon for executive directors. So I put that into my planner, and that's on Tuesday. My Wednesday, I have a board meeting on Wednesday, right? So there's some prep involved prior to that, but definitely must be at that board meeting. So the board meeting is a big must. So I put that into my planner under board meetings. And then I have a couple, as far as meetings and conferences, I think that covers them all for that week. But then there's other really important things I want to try to get done. I have a couple grants, or parts, I should say, a couple things. 1 grant, but 2 things I want to get done with the grant. I want to get the finance report ready, and I also want to get the program evaluation ready. And those are different parts, kind of mini reports that go into that grant. And those are priority. That's a really big priority because I want to stay on task with this grant because there's a deadline, and if I don't get this done, I can't do part 3 and part 4. So okay, so that goes into my day, and I start putting them down and the dates and times that I want to do them. And then I go into my second priority stuff, which includes board meeting preparation, right? High priority, but second priority, I consider it a secondary priority because the high priorities are the ones I have to be here at noon. Secondary priority is I have to prepare for that meeting at noon. So I'm going to put that in there as a must-do prior to the must-be-at meeting. There's a couple other things I'll write down. There's event planning, right? So contacting vendors who are going to be at an event we're hosting, getting an ad in the paper because the deadline for advertising is at the end of day Monday. So that is a priority. and contacting the volunteers who are going to be there. And so I'll start penciling those in there also. End of the week, QuickBooks, got to go into there. I got to do the finances. I got to get the checks written. I've got to pay people. I've got to make deposits. It's typically my Friday duty, so I'll put that in there also. Once I get done with this list and I get it transposed into the Passion Planner, into my weekly planner, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start highlighting stuff, right? So literally just taking highlighters and giving highlighters, it's a color code, right? So blue is priority. When I see something highlighted in blue, it's a date, it's a time, it's something I have to be at. I'm on the clock, right? And then my secondary priorities are orange. And my kind of, if you get a chance to do it, it's going to be great, but it could happen next week, is yellow highlighter, right? And then I also try to put in some of my personal goals or objectives in there, maybe meeting a friend for lunch, or getting a workout in between a meeting and a conference. And I usually just put those in straight with my pen, and it's almost like penciling them in, right? But I write them in the pen. I don't give them a highlight, but it's something I'm trying to fit in between something. So, and as I do this, I really try to focus on not only giving the week its focus, right? Because that's part of the Passion Planner. In this blank one, you can see right here, it starts with what is the week's focus, right? And that's that corner there. But it also has your day focus. So each day has an objective. Let me show you what this looks like once it's all written out. I've taken this list, right, and I've put it into this planner. Now, I don't know how well you can see that, but I'll try to do it real quick here. So with the planner, what I've basically done is I put down the focus for each day. So this is event prep, right? I'm going to get in touch with the newspaper. I'm going to contact the volunteers and the vendors, right? The next day is I have a training that afternoon, and I need to make it, and I want to be mentally prepared for it because it's a really good training. So that's kind of training focus with some other stuff in there. You can see I've already color-coded this priority-wise. Wednesday's the board meeting, so I board prep right here, and then there's the actual board meeting, and then there's some follow-up board stuff here. Emailing the minutes out, not a high priority, could happen the next day or whatever if I run out of time during this day, right? Let's flip it over here. So I have a Monday through Sunday calendar, so Saturday, Sunday are here. This is my grant writing day. I've blocked off big chunks of time for the grant writing, right? So the grant writing, I'm going to spend most of my morning doing the grant writing, at which point I have a couple meetings in the afternoon with some donors and a representative. And then we move on to Friday. There's my QuickBooks, right? It's a high priority, but it's not like I have to be there at 10 o'clock to meet somebody, but it's a high priority. It's in orange, so I'm going to do all my QuickBooks work there. Meet my friend for lunch, right? Put that in there. And then down below, start writing some draft sponsor letters and what is that? And thank you letters, right? So something I'll be doing the following week, but I want to get a jump on it. So if I have time at the end of the week, I will start drafting some sponsorship letters as well as thank you letters. Now, you can arrange this however you like. I know that I work best in the morning and I need chunks of time. So if I'm going to spend a lot of time focusing on a specific task, I want to give myself 2-3 hours in the morning undisturbed, where I'm going to crank out reports or prep work, or I'm going to do a whole checklist of stuff for an event. I'm just going to get in work mode for those 3 hours. And then for me, my day starts to kind of break apart after lunch. That's when I start having different appointments and meetings and start running errands and picking up stuff that may need to get done throughout the day. So I really like to put the bulk of my work right in the morning when I'm fresh and energized. For you, maybe it's after lunch you feel the most refreshed and energized, and you like to tick off all your appointments in the morning. So that's the beauty of it too. So it's very flexible in that way, and you can see right away I've already put down here the priorities that I have for the week. I have my work priorities, level 1, 2, and 3, and then I have some personal priorities over here, 1, 2, and 3. Buy a birthday card, right? That's on there, and I think I'm trying to fit that in between a conference call and a meeting. I'll be near the store. So yeah, that's how I plan my weeks, and I find it very effective because at the end of the week, I have completed event prep, board meeting prep, grant writing, a training, right? And so these things get focused, they get organized, they get prioritized. And if I happen to miss something, I know what I'm going to be able to miss because I'm going to look at it, I'm going to be like, look, I'm running out of time today. That yellow highlight, not going to be able to do it today. That has to wait. Blue ones need to get accomplished. Orange ones, second, right? So prioritizing your days like that really help a lot. And I hope this video has helped a lot. Planning long-term goals, weekly, monthly, yearly, right? Starts macro. You start with your entire year. What are your goals? What are you shooting for? And you start breaking it down into chunks until you can get it into a daily format. Track it, right? The SMART concept. You got to be able to track it. It's got to be measurable, right? Track it, and then the next week revisit it and keep plugging away each time. What I do at the end of the week, if I have time on Friday, I'll start getting this ready for next week. And so my planner will be mostly written by Monday morning. I have a whole new plan in front of me of either things that were kind of yellow and I didn't get finished, so I need to carry them over to the next week. Or maybe there's other meetings and priorities or phases, right? I have more phases of this grant that I need to get done. So there'll be more phases of that I have to write next week. And depending on when my scheduled meetings and conferences are, I will fit those in some chunk of time. Like I said, I like to work in blocks of time in the morning and do the next phases of that. And so that within 2-3 weeks, that grant will be ready for submission just in time for the deadline. All right, folks, I hope this was helpful. And sorry for the confusion between the two videos. There was me from 3 days ago and now me with a haircut and a different location, well, different corner of my office, of my space here. You guys enjoy, and I appreciate watching the video. Hey, if you really like the video, I hope, because I really hope it's helpful, right? If you like it, give us a like and put a comment down there, and visit nonprofitally.com if you want some more information on starting, running, organizing your nonprofit. Thanks much, folks. Bye.